Looking for help with course design and installations? A new disc or other accessories for your game? Well, OzDiscs has a huge range of all disc golf equipment in stock. 5% of each sale goes back to support your local club through their rewards program. Also, did we mention they have next day shipping? Well, jump online and check out OzDiscs now at www.ozdiscs.com.au. For over 10 years, the Flying Disc Store has stocked Australia's largest range of flying disc products. From disc golf discs and bags to ultimate frisbees, throw and catch discs and dog discs, the Flying Disc Store has everything you need. As part of our support of the Tee-Off, the Flying Disc Store would like to provide Tee-Off listeners with 5% off any purchase in the store. Just use the code TEEOFF5 when checking out to get your discount. Visit www.flyingdiscstore.com.au today to grab a deal. And if you have any questions, be sure to contact their friendly staff. And welcome back to the Tee-Off, an Australian podcast about the awesome sport of disc golf. My name is Paddy Robinson. This is episode 78. And in the booth with me, I've got Andrew Ferguson. How are you?
Well. How you going, chaps?
Good. Timmy Bowen.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Paddy.
And we're the awesome foursome today with Dyl Feldman also in the booth.
Fellas, how are we?
We're good, mate. Thanks for joining us. It's going to get nice, hot and sweaty in my little study, but that's how Timmy likes it, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate.
All right, straight into it. Little players meeting, whatever it is. I know Tim loves this, but
got to go to the bathroom. Be back in a minute.
Yep. Sizzler coverage. We kind of mentioned it last time, but it's out. So if you jump onto Gatekeeper, but also Park. So the first round of, the first 9 or 11 holes. It was first 11 holes of each round is on Gatekeeper, and then the back 11 is on Parked. The episodes are linked, but hey, we're seeing a lot more views on the old Gatekeeper. So jump over, support those Park boys because they've done a pretty solid job in that coverage. So
not hard to tick up the little thumbs up button and leave a little comment on the Parks media side of things, just to get the views rolling through.
And absolutely. And while we're shouting out Park, I'll just say, did you see they're doing some sort of collaboration with the US event?
The Berlin.
Oh, Berlin event.
Yeah, Berlin. Sorry, yeah, Berlin. Yeah, the
Germans.
That's awesome. Yeah. Really cool.
So yeah, unreal. I saw that too. I'm very curious to see what comes out there. And hey, look, if they want some
are they going there to film
Aussie commentary on the German disc golf, I know a few blokes.
Just while we're on Parked as well, they set up the GoFundMe, so you can kick in $40 to the GoFundMe to try and enter in the competition to be on the filmed card at Vic Open.
So have you done that, Tim?
I don't want to be filmed, mate. I've played one good round on coverage, and they're sitting on that coverage like it's in a vault somewhere. They've never to see the light of day. Melbourne celebrates. Get on it.
All right.
Every other round I've played on Parked coverage has been abysmal. So
are they going to share who's got tickets on themselves? Trying to which MPO players are trying to sneak onto that feature card?
Well, there's no MPO, so I imagine it's all MA1. I'm expecting to see Alan Brunstein up there. I'd like to see Camille Abratansky chuck in 40. Love to see Cam on the coverage.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Yeah.
And big shout out to our sponsor, Parked Media, for that segment.
Actually, on that, can I kick in 40 and then choose who I want it to go towards?
Oh. There you go. All right. We know the Park boys listen, so get back to us.
I want Sean Freeman. Yeah. Sean Sixt Freeman on there. 16 Freeman. How do you say it again? I can't remember.
Make sure you jump on, check it out, and leave a comment because that would be great. Next up, disc golf reflection. Now, we haven't done this for a while, and I'm only sharing it, Tim, because you and I went and played Bendigo the other day, and you made some comments on it that I've never heard before.
I didn't realise I was such a T-pad.
Great putt. No, sorry.
I didn't realise I was such a T-pad aficionado, but here you go. You've morphed my comments into a disc golf reflection.
Aficionado? blissfully, maybe critique, critic.
I think I'm just very conscious of the tee pad, the direction it's pointing, and also the angle of the pad.
Yeah.
Because it affects your shot.
So Tim was bringing it up, like when we're talking through how we're going to throw, he was like, oh, the angle of this pad is leaking a little bit to the left, so my shot might go a little bit more to the left. And it just got me thinking. I was like, oh, have I ever thought about that? Is it something that you should bring in? I just wanted to put it out there. We've got some good disc golf knowledge in the room. What do you reckon?
Oh, it's hard. I know I watched the footage of you guys in at Quarry Hill, Bendigo, and I know, for example, renumbered the holes now. Maybe it's like 4, 5, where you can kind of clearly go 2 different ways around the big pine that's in front of you. I think it's hole 5.
Maybe.
You both threw forehands.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that one.
Kind of across the
Yeah.
gully. That one, obviously, you can kind of go both ways.
Yeah.
So where do you point the pad?
Yeah, it's a good
In
point.
that respect?
Yeah.
What about the circle pads at La Mirada? Or what's that course?
Yeah, the
I'm
one
a big
around
fan of the circle pads.
The
That
first
just solves the problem, does it?
circle pad in Australia. There you go, Fergie.
Well, yeah,
Get on that, mate.
that's a good point. I find when the pads are actually really skinny and pointing one specific direction, very difficult to adjust from, because obviously you run up, the line that you're on is going to dictate more or less where the disc is going to get thrown. And I find it very difficult to start off the pad and then come at an angle onto the pad, because I find that the skinny concrete pads sort of correct my run up. And yeah, I find it personally very difficult. But
Yeah.
I think also there's
Interesting one.
a whole stack of foot faults happening on those pads. A lot of people
yeah.
releasing the disc with their back foot off the pad, still on the ground, and you're never ever going to call that. But yeah, but I mean, you're specifically talking about the angle of the pad, Paddy. So
Yeah,
like when you're on
so
a bit of a
like
slant,
If it's on a slant, yeah.
Yeah.
So is
know where
that
I've-
going to make you throw, so say it's like slanting down to left, like do you aim, because you mentioned it, you're like, right, I'm going to aim a little bit more to the right because it's going to push me that way. I was like, I've never really thought about that.
I think the thing that
Yeah.
for me, because I tend to release flat, if not a bit of Annie on the back ends, was hole 18 at Inverleigh. Because if you're stuck on the left on the second shot, you're kind of on that angle and you're more likely to turn the disc over, because if you're releasing it flat and you're on a bit of an angled ground, that's going to become Anheuser heading towards the OB. So just being conscious of that and, accounting for it, basically.
Yeah. If you went on the tee and you were just on the fairway and you had some sort of slight variation in the
Yeah,
ground,
spot on.
you would be adjusting for it.
Absolutely.
But on the tee pad, you're not thinking about it too much because your preconception is to go, oh, this tee pad's flat.
Well-
it should be flat.
Well, I guess, yeah, preferably you want a tee-pad flat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, another example is the Gold hole 5, the first par 5. Sorry, hole 7, the first par 5 at Inverleigh. Tee-pad's elevated and it points upwards. Very conscious of trying to get the disc nose down on that pad for that very reason.
Yeah.
Not saying it, I mean, obviously you want every tee-pad to be flat. Not always possible. But if it's not, just being aware of it is a good idea. And I guess that's the tip of the week.
Yeah.
What's news round the world, round Australia? What's news? What's happened and who's spoken?
Alrighty, Timmy. We're going to quickly recap the Music City Open now. It is a little bit of time since this passed, so we're just going to look at the highlights because there were some good highlights.
Yeah, got to jump into it. Presented by Another Round. So first of all, Another Round. They're called Another Round, but do they actually play rounds? Because they only ever just play one hole and just film it until they get an ace right. Isn't that Another Round disc golf?
Well, I've been there.
Okay.
And they're a bar and disc golf shop.
Oh, righto. Well, I think they're a franchise now,
Another
so
Round.
they're everywhere. But
Well, there you go.
Well, I've been to
Another
one of them.
Round.
I love Another
That makes
Round.
sense.
Another round.
I thought it was like disc golf's so good, we're going to have to play another round.
Yeah.
Which, like, as a 37-year-old, it's
Nah.
a difficult
I will just
proposition.
think about the other round.
That's
roll.
it. Anyway, recap's already gone over time. Nicholas Ansela, he goes back to back. He had a 3-shot win over Gannon and Austin Turner, the lefty, and a 4-shot win over Macbeth. Watch this one, boys. I felt like
cold
it really
blooded.
It looked like Macbeth was going to get him, don't you reckon? But he choked a bit on hole 15. Is a hole that he absolutely parked in the previous round, big forehand, and he chucked it OB. And that gave him a 2-shot swing because Antela clutched up in a massive putt.
That's going to be the story of the season, though. Macbeth has made lead card final round
It's been playing
pretty much every
He played
event,
bloody
and
good.
it's been the back 9 where he's had 1 or 2 holes and kind of left himself out of contention.
Well,
it's coming.
I think Tim-
Worlds?
Yeah,
Worlds?
yeah, it's scary.
It's coming.
He likes the course.
Yeah. Tim made a really good comment about it, and I think it's like until he's up and coming, like he's got nothing to lose. He's just here. It's like, I got a long career, but Macbeth is coming in and he's like, oh, I might not win another, or my wins are probably a little bit less now, the chances of me winning. So maybe that got in his head a little bit.
It looks like that's the case. It looks like he's like, I have to capitalize on this one because I don't know when my next chance to win is going to come. And
it's very interesting though, because he's got to be one of the only people that has nothing to prove, really.
Exactly.
But it seems like he has something to prove.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you reckon that's kind of getting to him? Because it's like,
I mean, look at this.
He's trying to
him losing is scary for the rest of the MPO field.
Look at this for the stat.
But like any other person who finishes a career with the one he's had, you're very happy. But he seems to be hungry to want to prove himself that, he's had a bit of a hiatus, but he's back.
Still good.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's a bit admirable about Macbeth. He's like got nothing. He's won everything, but he's still there wanting to win more. Yeah. But this is the most alarming stat that I took from the whole event. Macbeth had the lowest bogey rate. He only had 2 single bogeys for the tournament, but they came in the last 4 holes of the event. So that's just mental. That's just mental game for me. And I've got a question mark here. Is he still McBeast? Because he doesn't have that killer instinct that like, I don't think he's like scaring the opponents like he used to. I don't know.
It's growing.
It's growing?
You can't ever be like, oh, I feel really comfortable. Paul Macbeth is only 1 stroke behind me. Yeah. I don't think those boys are at that stage yet, surely. But I mean, Nicholas clutching up like he did was, incredible.
I was just going to say, Angela, over the last year or two, has been one of the most clutch putters down the stretch.
He went at 91% C1X and 44% C2, so pretty good putting.
But when it matters too.
Yeah. He hit that big C2 putt to initially take the lead.
15 or 16.
The 2-stroke swing. That was...
The same thing last year at Austin at Texas. Yeah.
If he's not McBeast, what is he? McFeast?
Just the goat. Just the goat.
McWaz? I don't know. No. Mate, I'm the biggest Macbeth fan out there. I love it.
McWaz.
I'll be first in line to buy some 8-time discs later this year.
Goodness me, that's awful. No, he's McBeast mode, and I would back him in for Worlds 100%. Yep.
On the FBO side of things, Cl8ton, she won in a 1-hole playoff over Silva Saarinen.
All right.
Living up to her name. I think I already made that joke. But Silva, like she choked. I just want to put out there, she absolutely choked. Holland, Hanley, Evelina Salonen, and Cadence Burge, who's probably she's 950-ish rated. Did well to get up in the top 5.
Okay. She did not choke.
Mate, she choked.
She did not choke. Like, I've gone back and I've watched it. Yes, she stuffed up that hole where she made 1 mistake. But Kristen had to 2 mistakes. Oh, well, yeah. No, that first one,
mate,
debatable.
She paid the no forehand tax, mate.
The forehand into the trees, that was terrible.
Yep.
But, Kristen had to then birdie. That was an insane birdie. She hit, a 15-metre putt to do that and then absolutely parked, 18, which is insanely difficult. So actually, I don't think she choked.
I kind of feel like Silva got a bit unlucky on 18. They basically threw the exact same drive. KT's has the world champ luck and just scoots through his parked. Yeah. Silva unfortunately nicked something and was just like an Anheuser putt from C2. So a little unlucky to be fair. But yeah, she definitely choked, Paddy. That forehand on 17 is so easy. It's like a 50-metre forehand, and she goes backhand putter straight into the rough.
I see what you're saying, though. That's not a choke unless it's a player behind you that has that killer instinct. No one else is making that taking advantage of those opportunities apart from Kristen.
We're talking about McBeast coming back. Far out.
I mean, she threw a backhand putter straight into the rough, and then her pitch out went straight into the rough, 15 metres. That's a choke, mate. Anyway.
When she couldn't, she had no angle.
No,
wasn't a choke.
I don't know about that.
Wasn't a choke.
Practice the forehands, everybody.
Watch 18 again. Tell me.
Tip of the week, get out there and practice your forehands. You need a 50-metre forehand. When the hole tells you to throw forehand, you throw forehand. That's also my tip of the week.
All right.
Anyway, it was notably the highest rated loss. So she averaged roughly 10-20.
Mate, come on. That's we got to call out the Disc Golf Pro Tour for sharing that. That is the worst thing. She's obviously feeling it, but that's the stat that it was. Not hey, this was the highest FPO rated. Blah 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 for tournament average. No, it was the highest rated.
Loser.
Who then lost?
You're the loser.
Who lost?
It's like Justin Rose at the Masters. Really,
that's whoever's on the socials for Pro Tour
Kudos. Well done.
Nah.
Previously,
Shame.
it was Missy Gannon
Shame.
who had that stat. She lost Worlds with a 1,003 average. So Silver's smoked that.
Who shares
Yeah,
that stat?
that's
Have you ever
so
seen any of the boys have that stat? Maybe Cl8ton.
Calvin said that.
Oh, it's just, I mean, you know, if you come in second, if the boys are coming second, they're going to be high rated rounds anyway. For the females to be averaging 10-20,
Yeah.
that's notable. That's well enough. That's good enough.
But then to
promote.
share that she lost. Nah, trash.
Pretty brutal.
Absolute savage.
All right, that's enough Music City. But a couple of little notables, first of all. Do we like the guitar? Is that a good trophy?
Yeah.
The guitar's a good trophy?
Elite. I do play guitar, but yeah, it's
Is
pretty
it
elite.
the, I mean, we
It
just
makes
watched
me
the
want to play
Masters.
guitar.
Is it the green jacket of disc golf? Because, I mean, it's pretty synonymous with Music City Open, that trophy.
Yeah.
The Masters is actually just it's a trophy of the clubhouse.
Is that what they get?
That's what you get.
Okay.
The green jacket's the green jacket, but
Yeah.
if you actually get, it's actually kind of weird. You look at it, it's like, oh, it's a clubhouse.
Can we play, please, the
in
next
gold.
tournament at Barn Valley? Like, you just get a model of the dunny down on.
I remember Bowen Valley. Good place. All right, so the trophy gets a tick. Do we see Abigail Wilson? Like, I've never heard this name before, but she, if you didn't see it, you must have been hiding under a rock, because this actually made like international news. It was on like Estonian and Finnish news outlets, this one.
Really? Jeez.
So she's teeing off with Natalie Ryan, and she actually faked to the tee off. She got on the tee, did a practice swing, and then she turned around and withdrew from the tournament. She said, and this is verbatim, "Females need to be protected in our division. This is unfair and I refuse to play." And then she just walked off,
Yeah.
which was
And had
Hawks.
one person on the phone was cheering.
Yeah, look, I mean, it was a publicity stunt, fair to say. I mean, that's exactly what it was.
So-
and it did work, but that's a bit...
My 2 cents, Abigail Wilson, who, I'm not going to remember your name, and what a trash thing to do on the first tee. Like,
Agreed. Yep.
lame.
If you're a tournament director, you're going to be not enjoying someone using your event
Yeah.
for political purposes. Like, you know, maybe call a press conference or something, you know, outside of the actual event, but like it's a bit.
I don't know.
You'll remember the name. You can't forget a name like Abigail.
Nah, it's
But
already done.
I looked her up. She's 919 rated, so she's about 40 or 50 points under Natalie Ryan.
Yeah.
And apparently she had asked to be moved off that card because she didn't feel safe playing with Natalie Ryan because of the last year when it was, you know, there was actually some, I think there was like a gun or a bomb threat or something. There was some, you know, they had to stop play and then they got security out on the course.
I'm
So
sure.
she's claiming that she was a bit worried about the safety of playing on that card.
I'd
And then
be
she
worried
asked to
about
be
anywhere in the US at the moment. Anyway.
yeah, a little bit. So then she also asked to be moved into MPO, which they refused, probably because it was full, unlike the Vic Open. But that's not needless to be said. But I mean, and then she just withdrew from the thing, and I don't know. It was a bit. It was a bit.
I think
poor
you're
form. in my
entitled to
opinion.
have your opinion, but you got to pick your time and place, and that was not it.
That's
yeah.
it.
If she wanted her 5 minutes, she got it. Maybe if you want your actual 5 minutes, why don't you just be good at disc golf and not, you know, just beat Natalie Ryan? Cool. Yeah. That's what you don't see Kristen Tatar worrying about it. Just be better. Mm-hmm. Cool. That's my thoughts.
Did she get an 888 or a 999?
Ooh, that's a.
We'll have to ask Cl8ton.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was leading there. I left it open.
Oh no! We'll have to look into that. I'm not too sure, and I don't know what you're talking about on the Cl8ton front.
All right, moving on.
Look at the tips. So I tipped Simon. He finished 28th. It's not really good for Simon, but he's probably like me. Doesn't like the wet weather, and it was a soggy event. At the
He's
Music
had,
City Open.
he's had too good a start to the year. He couldn't he couldn't follow it up with another one.
I
Yeah,
think
fair enough.
Soggy is an understatement. Far out.
And Paddy, you tipped Isaac, and he came 5th. Well done, sir.
He's coming back.
He is coming back.
What did I say? Paul Macbeth? She win for Worlds? Nah, Isaac. She win.
Oh, turn it up. So next up, we have the Kansas City Wide Open. Do we have any tips for this one? I had a look. This was actually a Silver Series event last year, so not everybody played it. I'm going to go Gannon just because I don't know nothing about it. Kansas, I'm like guessing it's going to be windy as all hell.
It's really cool to see this back because the KC Wide Open was huge before, like pre-COVID. Like that was one of the elite events.
I knew you boys would know more
Yeah.
about it than I did. I don't remember it. Is it a good one? Good course?
Well, if they're playing on the same course, they seem to mix it up a little bit. But I mean, Tim, you've gone Gannon. I'm going to say
Out on a limb, I picked the top-rated player. But I just feel like if it's going to be super windy, I like Gannon's game for that.
yeah. Or who do you guys? All the big dogs are playing. Who do you reckon?
I'm going to say, based off current form and seems to be coming back into himself, a bit of Eagle McMahon.
Ooh, I like
He's
that
been
one.
up the leaderboard the last couple of tournaments.
Yeah.
Just got to put it together.
Yeah, he's had
I think he's
consistent top 100 finishes. That's great.
We were talking about him just before. Maybe he's going to go a few more better in this event.
Yeah.
The Beast.
The Beast.
Macbeth.
Yeah, I like the Beast.
Maybe.
Calvin. Let's throw it out there. He needs a win.
One of these
The
days,
tournament's small
he
enough
does
for him
need
to
to
win,
win.
isn't
He
it?
won't win, but he needs a win.
No, the tournament's small enough. It's not
Yeah.
a big one.
one of these days we'll get it right.
All right. Next up, a bit of Aussie tour stuff. So Crater Lakes, Tim,
do
you
I
went.
have to-
You went over and played.
Played
Actually,
is
now I
played
know
is such
why
a
you
strong word.
wanted to talk about it.
Played is such a strong word, Paddy.
Yeah.
I was there. I chipped around that course.
No, I
I need
want
to
to
give it.
hear it again.
I need
wanna
to give a
hear it again.
huge shout out to Nathan Parrish, who had a 3-shot victory over Ethan Lewis and a 5-shot victory over myself in MPO. Huge win for Nath, one of his first big ones.
What would you liken this to? From like Tim's told me a bit about some of the stuff that Nath was pulling off, and it sounded
Mate. So
What,
Nate's,
he's lucky too, was he? Or?
Nate, look, Nath this year is known for a late round, last round fade out. And I was waiting for it. But the guy was unstoppable. Like, we had 40K wins, and he throws in a 30-metre putt on hole 2,
Nice.
which is like slightly elevated, that basket. Then the very elevated basket, he hits a C2 putt to save a par. We're in 40K wins, and he hits a C2 putt.
So
and
good.
then we get to hole 10, which is not in the Eruption Players book. It's that one that's like on the fierce slope away from the car park. He shanks over a backhand, and I'm like, sick, I'm going to get like 2 shots on him here. And he throws it in from like 35, 40 metres away, which if he misses any medal, that's 35 to 40 metres away down the hill. So then he gets it in. I'm like, the guy was on a tear, and then he clutched up late in the round too. So kudos to Nathan, massive win. And kudos to Ethan as well. for second place.
All I can think about, if there's anyone out there who is a fan of the movie Caddyshack, when the guy's playing in the absolute storm and he's just hitting everything, like he's hitting hole-in-ones and massive putts, and then he gets electrocuted and dies. But like that's all I thought about. Like just Nathan, just severe weather, just hitting everything.
No, it was a huge
Has
win.
he had a decent kind of, well, I don't know if it's an A tier, whatever, but like a decent kind of win?
He said he's had smaller wins,
Yep.
but this is a good win where like there was good competition there.
Yep.
So well done.
That's awesome.
And thanks for calling me good competition.
I was gonna say,
Appreciate that.
I was watching live actually. I was watching live on the PDGA live and you know tracking it all and stuff. It was good. They actually had the cash line there.
Yeah.
On the so they were putting information in, and I just saw
Tim-
someone's name just
Tim
slip
just
underneath it.
below it.
Unfortunately.
Just
Yeah,
below
I
it.
was
Just below it.
I was 2 shots out, and they made. I'll just let you know right now. They made hole 3, the little dinker hole. They put a 10-meter circle around that thing, and I got 2 bloody rollaways on that hole. I thought
the one downhill.
Yeah, I thought I'd park that one twice and rolled 15 meters. OB, thank you very much,
Well,
and hit the putt both rounds.
Has it
There
all
goes
Has it?
$80.
Yeah.
$80 just rolling away.
Yeah, it's spot on. Anyway, we've got to move on. It's not all about me. MP40. Alex Costello's had a 1-shot win over Chris Hart and Josh Smith in 3rd place. MA1 was Tom Lee, Brucey Boy, had a 2-shot win over Kaylin Haramis.
Nice.
FA1, Anita Weber had a win. MA40, Lee Thompson had a 3-shot win over Ryan Nicholson. FA40, Jenny Duggan had a win over Kylie Crawford. MA50, Michael Quinn, unrated, had a 2-shot victory over Kerry Edwards.
That's
Come from behind.
solid,
Yeah.
solid win.
Like a 9-shot swing in the last round. Little
Gee whiz.
Mikey Quinn.
Yep, that's
Wow.
huge.
Very
That's-
nicely done.
Yeah, sounds like someone blew up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
MA2, Alex Young Jackaway had a win over Tom Tulip. FA2, Kate Eldridge had a win over Jess Holman. MA3, Brett Stevenson had a win over Maddie Tulip. FA3, Taylor Clark had a win. MA4, Miffy Polner had a 1-shot win over Chris Reimer. Very well done. FA4, Taryn Salter had a win over Lily Reimer. MJ15, Lincoln Holman had a win, and FJ15, Miley Nicholson had a win. Well done.
Super solid.
Always lots of men's juniors and junior girls in SA. It's good.
They do some good stuff.
really good.
Out of SA and Mount Gambier.
Yep.
All right, then next up we had the Rathmines Rumble that was TD'd by Cl8ton Beck in Rathmines, which
Hang on a
probably quite a few people here have not played Rathmines.
Never been there. And I also want to point out Rathmines Rumble and Ruffy Rumble. Who had the first Rumble? Because There's some copyright infringements happening here.
Oh, I reckon Ruffy did, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rathmines, it's actually a really fun
Yeah, it's a good course.
place to play disc golf. It's right on the lake. I can't remember the name of the lake.
Is this
to be
one in
honest. But-
Newcastle?
Yeah, one in
Okay.
Newcastle. And it's a shame because it's actually quite easy to get to. You flying into Sydney and just take the train up through the Hunter Valley and you get up to Newcastle. I've done it a few times. Yeah, really, really fun tournament. But looks like Chris Hill won in a playoff against TD Cl8ton Beck.
Ooh, it would be fiercely contested.
There you go. So pretty solid from there. Leith Brody ended up coming third in MPO. Nice little showing, 11 in MPO there. MP40 was JJ taking a 3-shot win. MA1 was Prit Koiv. Nice one, Prit. FA1 was Kyrie. Have they got their child playing yet? No, they haven't.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think he's Georgie's age, mate.
Yeah.
Give him a little bit of time.
Oh, George has a PDJ. So Victoria's own Pete Hellier, nice, gets a win in the MA40, MA50. Tunga Waitford, very nice there. 1-stroke win over Andrew Wiz. MA2, Josh Gresham gets a win. MA3, Pablo Artica, nice one, Pabs. FA3, Kelly Wickham gets a win. And then FA4, Michelle Juarez. Very nice.
Good stuff, Dill.
Next
Moving on
up.
over to you.
Molong Cup. This was over the weekend just gone. In MPO, Elias Lind had a win.
Ooh,
pretty
Elias.
convincingly. 16 shots over Broden Sharat, who's I think usually
15
plays
down.
MA1, so good to see him testing the waters in MPO. And
Yep.
Cl8ton rounding out the top 3.
Yeah. Is he though? Round 1. Trip 8s. Oh, what's going on there?
Oh, I think
We'll have to
he
get him on
playing
the phone. We'll have to get him on the phone and ask. That's all we wanted to ask him, I think. Yeah.
And there were other divisions as well. So in MP40, Mark Boland took out a 2-shot win over TD Kevin Costa.
Nice.
With Matt Wallace only 4 shots behind, so pretty close there. And MA1, Tim Wright had a close win over Liam O'Brien and Josh Conroy. 1 shot over the two of them.
Tight.
MA40, Peter Bly won over Peter Hellier, making another appearance.
Jeez, they're driving around.
Yeah, that's what's that? Crater Lakes to Molong in a week.
Oh, woof.
Or
That's a
like
fair drive.
Rumble for
Oh.
Pete.
Oh,
He didn't
Rumble,
play Crater.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Rumble.
But that's a solid drive.
FA40, Janet Cartwright had a 1-shot win over Carol Hartley. MA50, there were 8 people played, and it was 2 shots between the top 3, with Nicholas Hall taking it out.
Nice.
MA2, Dean Parrott had a 15-shot win over Ben Kennedy and Tom Tulip.
they're sandbagging numbers, if I do say so.
The cockatoo.
Yeah, I'm looking at his rating compared to everyone else. He's
928.
pretty clear.
Yeah.
Pretty clear.
928 in MA2.
This is an intervention.
All right. Dean, you cockatoo, get up. Come on.
FA2, Claire Bruton had a 2-shot win over Amy Ellis, with Sarah Moore only 1 shot further back. Pretty close there. And FA3, Kelly Wickham had a 6-shot win over Lauren Tuvey and Brenda Ryan. And in MA4, Darwin Taylor had a win over Ross Davies. And MJ15 as well. Had Marcus Davies had a close win over Brian Reid and Reid Taylor. And Lily Nicholson Love took out FJ15.
Very
Good
nice.
stuff. And Fergs, there was one other little tourney all the way up in Townsville, I believe. Shout out some winners.
Absolutely. It was up at the Harris Crossing disc golf course, I believe. It's been installed for a few years now.
Generous pars up there at Harris Crossing, fair to say.
generous.
I think I shot 27 down or something like that when I played it.
Over 4 holes. Yeah, so in MPO division, we had Brisbane's Aaron Morton take out the win by himself.
Does he just get his entry fee back?
Probably
Or
minus
a portion of?
minus expenses. On Yaz. MA1, Ben Kirsch had a nice solid 7-stroke win with 12 under par. In MA40, Robert Lambert got a 3-stroke win over Todd Chapman. MA3, Kane Smith had a very close win there over the tournament director Trent Pease. In MA4, Jordan Bulmont got a very solid win there, 21 strokes in fact. In FA4, Kerry Palazzi from Kingfisher Disc Golf got the win. And the their son, Mitchell Palazzi,
Nice.
snagged a win in MJ15.
So we've just seen 3 events that had the TD come second in each division. I'm just wondering, do you want to see a TD win the event, or do you want to see a TD come second?
That's
TD
a
has
strategic finish, second place, I reckon.
I mean, TDs have at least a 5-shot handicap. It's a lot of pressure being the TD, especially when you got us MPOers whinging about every little thing at this point. But anyway, next up we've got the Chichester Pro over in WA, and then we've got the Vic Open. Boys, need some tips, and maybe let's not tip MPO because there's only 12 of us, and everyone's going to tip Dyl anyway. Let's roll over to MA1. And let's roll with some tips.
Oh, mate, even MA1 is looking... Oh, we're going to cover Vic Open later.
I want some tips. I'm going to jump out. I'm going to tip Alan Brunsting, 926 rated. He's playing some good disc golf at the moment.
No, I've seen the course. Nah.
Not Thumber approved.
Is Ethan Lewis signed up?
Oh, he could be a smoky.
He is not, but playing
No.
some good form. He's playing some good disc golf. These are the top boys. We've got Matt Hill, Liam Brunelli, Brondex, Benedict O'Byrne, Penn Lou, Chris Scott, Alan Brunsting, Kalen Haramis.
I'm going to take Eggs Benny.
Ex-Penny.
Eggs Benny.
I'll take Kalen.
Yeah, Kalen.
Haramis.
Yeah.
You guys are overlooking Matt Hill, who used to be like 980 rated at one point, and Liam Brunelli Brondex, who is very solid.
Yeah, Matt hasn't played much in a while, though. So
No.
I'm going Al Brunsting, mate. He's going to get it
Yeah.
done. I feel I may be completely misremembering this, but I feel like he had a good one there last time we played Bendigo. But don't
I
hold
think
me
he
to
did
that.
too, actually.
And he's been
I
out
think
practicing too.
Practicing.
Yeah,
We're talking about
Bendigo.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Look out.
Do me a solid, Al.
He's played one round.
do me a solid, Al.
All right. We'll
Moving
see
on.
how that goes.
We just called to have a chin wag. We just called to have a chat with friends. We just called to talk some disco and to catch up on the latest disco trends.
All right, and on the phone we've got Mr. Cl8ton. We've done a few.
Oh, you've just done him dirty. Straight off the bat.
How to start there?
They forced me into it, Cl8ton. I had to, but
I
mate.
specifically said, don't mention it, Paddy, and you've led with it. So
Yeah, no, yep.
Anyway, let's move on because we were going to get you on because you had a big win recently this year, mate. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, obviously talking about the South Australian Open.
Absolutely, we are. We are,
Yeah.
over at lovely Bel Air.
Yeah, how did you enjoy Bel Air first?
It's beautiful. I had the pleasure of playing it not long after it was installed with Sarah, and I've been meaning to get back ever since, so I'm really happy that I was able to make it out to there.
Yeah, and a pretty solid field, mate.
Yeah, it had some bigger names out there. We had Kalen Borg, who played really well first half, so I got to play with him second, and Parrish played a very good tournament.
Yeah, Nate Parrish, he's having a year.
Yeah, he whooped my backside at Crater, mate. So well done getting the chocolates over him. And this is your first big win. You've had looking at the stats here, you've won a birdie blitz at Molong, an ADGD event, the final fling. But this one, SA Open with a big field, good stuff.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good one to get. Got pretty fortunate, I won't lie. I still played under my rating for the tournament, which is a bit controversial, but
Look,
in the last round.
You saved the best for last, mate, with a 994 in the final round. Like that's you've done well there. But how did you feel the game was? Like what I know, I've seen you throw a couple of strange discs before with the dragon. Is that still in the bag?
Oh, the Timmy Bowen Dragon, love it.
But
so
what was
that's in the
working?
bag still.
Still in the bag.
Still in the
That's
bag?
good to hear.
What was working?
Oh yeah. Probably the tee to green stats, I'd say. My putting wasn't too good that tournament, so it just gave myself enough chances to get enough birdies. Really, that's all it took.
So you say tee to green. I do recall you being a student under the Scott Stokely training academy back in the day, Cl8ton. Would you say that, talk us through a little bit about that, and did you find it beneficial? What did it help with? What are your thoughts on that?
Gosh, that's a throwback. It definitely helped. It absolutely helped. There was a lot of just talking with the crew. I've talked with Scott a few times with it as well. So that's really cool. A lot of he's able to articulate the things that you need to do really well. So while I didn't really improve too well in the form area of stuff. I was able to at least improve enough to make a couple of changes and get us like up in that field a little bit more.
And it was like adding some distance, right? I remember you saying back in the day that you've gone from, a top distance of like 100 to, up into those 120s, 130s. Would you say that was sort of your main aim of doing the disc golf training, or you just wanted another perspective, help with the field work?
No, it was. I think it definitely was primarily distance. No, like it is Scott. He had like both of the forehand and backhand distance champions. So, like, no one better to do it really.
Yeah, good call.
Cl8ton, is he doing in the videos? Is he actually critiquing your videos, or is it live, or how did the sessions happen?
So once a month he would do his own session, and then he had it was him and then a couple other trainers who you would they would critique. I only had the one video critique from Scott from memory. The rest were his trainers, but they knew just as much as he did. So
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Can you talk us through the playoff with Chris Hill? Because we had a look at the Rathmines Rumble, and you're on the same score, but his name is above yours. So tell us how that all went down, please.
That was a bit unfortunate. It only took him one hole to beat me. He won the flip, so I had to tee off first, and I just chose the wrong disc and flipped it over off the tee.
No, you did a silver Saranen. That's sad to hear, but that's all right. It's good form though, mate. And as I said, it'll bode well over in Vic Open. I think you'll do very, very well.
Now, mate, you've got a big event coming. You've won a state champs. You are the only interstater coming to the Vic Open in the MPO.
That can't be right. He's the only interstater on the Vic Open MPO list.
Yeah, on the MPO list, mate.
That's disappointing.
You're in, foreign territory, mate. How are you feeling about the Vic Open?
Honestly, I'm just keen to play. I haven't been to Bendigo before, so just keen to see what it shows up with, and hopefully I can play with the big boys like yourself. And honestly, me, you, Tim, Dyl sounds like a pretty good round 2 lead card, I reckon.
Oh, that does sound good, Cl8ton. I'll see how we go. Don't hold your breath. I reckon the course will suit you though. Like it's there's some distance required out there, and a whole lot of back ends. Thanks for that, Figs.
You're welcome.
I think it'll suit you quite well.
Well, yes, I actually would prefer the forehand holes myself, just like yourself, Tim. My forehand's definitely been the improvement recently.
There's plenty of forehands too. Don't worry.
Now, just before we have a chat about Vic Open, because we did get you on, we're going to have a bit of a deep dive into Vic Open because it is an elephant in the room. There are, 12 people on the MPO roster for Vic Open, which is way unders. I think in the past we had, correct me on the numbers there, boys.
32 last year.
32 last year.
At Inverleigh,
Which was almost the same, or if not bigger, than champs.
So we've got a third of the field here. So we're going to be definitely steering the conversation towards Vic Open and getting some of the perspectives from the MPO boys that we've asked in the background, and also yourself being the only interstate player. Why the hell aren't there MPO players at Vic Open?
Interstaters.
Yeah.
Interstate.
Look, I think it's just a lot to do with the trust factor. I don't know if people from interstate are trusting that their time is going to be worth it, and they have enough reason to go with obviously the last 2 payouts have been 55-60% at most. No transparency about where the extra bit of cash is going. So yeah, I'm assuming that people are not going because of just is it going to be worth their time? I'm only going out of pure convenience. If it wasn't convenient for me, I wouldn't be there.
Interesting. I mean, I'm curious as well, but I know someone has pulled out because of the cost of the actual accommodation being on Anzac weekend.
Anzac Day weekend,
Yep.
yeah. And that's a very important part.
Did that
Bendigo?
Was that something that you looked at as well, or is accommodation what's working out for you, Cl8ton, and that's why it's a bit easier to get there?
It does. It wasn't much of a worry for me, thankfully. With the Cross Tasman Discs crew, so there's a bunch of us going at the same time. So we're just going to Airbnb it together, and it's not too expensive after all. So
yeah, well, that's good.
Sounds good. I think also maybe contributing to it is the fact that it is in Bendigo. It's not exactly the easiest place to get to, particularly if you're from the other side of the country. But also, yeah, that's not the main reason. The main reason is the fact that the Vic Open crew has, as you said, Cl8ton, MPO is not their priority. Their priority is growing the sport of disc golf from the bottom up, and they're focusing on the amateur divisions more so. doing the absolute minimum requirements for the MPO division, and I think that's maybe putting a little bit of a bad taste in the mouth of some of the higher up interstate MPO players. Talking, we've got no representation from Canberra, we've got no representation from Queensland. WA, you can kind of forgive WA because it is a hell of a flight to come over from WA.
It's a bit of work, yeah.
But yeah, I think, Paddy, we rounded up some comments from some of the MPO boys.
Yeah, happy
share a couple
to
of those.
go through some of them now, if you like, and get your thoughts, Cl8ton. So this is just word for word. Not sure how to say it. From payouts to just being pretty casual. Vic Open went from being one of my favourite majors to I just can't even be bothered. It feels like a social comp in MPO for some reason. Obviously, everyone's different, but Vic Open's... at the moment, the last on my list to attend. If it wasn't for Inverleigh, I don't think I would have gone last year either. That's coming from someone who's never played for money either. Feel like the payouts play a factor of it. But yeah.
Here's another one. It's an interesting one because I personally don't want to make a big deal out of the fact MPO, including me, is deprioritising the comp. It creates ill will probably from Victorians towards MPO. I think it's as simple as if the Vic Open wants MPO to care about them, then they need to care about MPO. If they don't care about MPO, and that's the current perception, then they can't expect MPO to really care about them. The reality is there's only so many comps most of us can justify from an expense, time off work perspective, and I'd rather go to the Eruption, Queensland Open, New South Wales Open and Nationals. Fair points.
What's the main difference between... an event caring for MPO versus or FPO, whatever, pro divisions, and then one that does. And you could save money, sure.
I would say it's probably the pro purse, and it's just doing the bare minimum, and I think that's what Vic Open's sort of done. They've done the bare minimum as per the international guidelines, and I think maybe there's some ADG guidelines that are coming in next year, but not so much this year. Whereas if you look at someone like, the comps that we've had in New South Wales this year, Counteraction and certainly the Sizzler, they're catering for the AMs with the player packs and sponsors and whatnot, but they're also topping up the pro purse. And the payouts, I think, for Sizzler, I don't know the exact percentage, but they exceeded 100% of the pro purse easily.
Is that 100% minus the event fees?
Exactly right, yeah.
I mean, no one's getting much cash, let's be honest. Like if you get a bit in the bank... pay for flights, things like that. Great, happy days. But what is it for you, Cl8ton, that makes you feel like you're being treated, like you expect as a pro player of a sport?
Oh, actually, I'm going to say that I'm kind of on the fence in more than most of the MPO boys I think you guys are talking to. Pure to the fact that like anywhere else, if we were the state of Texas, most of us wouldn't be MPO. There's a lot of like. We are maybe the top of the country, but we're still not really that good. So, like, where do we draw the line of how many people do we need to be, like, elite level before we can really put that focus in there? So true that Victoria currently not enough. And, yeah, everyone else is doing that minimum, that 100%. Honestly, at this point, for me, that's all we need. Just need the 100%. We need I think the div locked cards as well. When you travel interstate for the rest of those MPO boys, you want to hang out with them as much as possible as well. You've got that community there. So like that's really just those two things would be enough. Everything on top of that would be welcome bonuses, really.
I think another little welcome bonus, and this is maybe, it's probably more pertinent to the people that want to play overseas. Ratings, we all care about ratings, but it's very important for people that want to register for comps overseas because entry into those comps, they all sell out. And it's first in, first served, but based on ratings. Obviously, if your rating's over 1,000, you can register earlier than someone if your rating is under 1,000. So even as simple as like creating 2 layouts so that you're not getting scaled against the entire amateur field, which we all know drags down the top end ratings quite significantly, can make a huge difference. And that's something that at Crater, even at Crater Lakes, there were 2 layouts. Play the same layout, but it's just entered in differently into the PDGA event report. It takes 5 minutes of admin, and all of a sudden you're not getting scaled against someone that's 750 rated, that's probably playing 850 disc golf. it makes a big difference. So I don't know. The little things like that is what comes to my mind to maybe make things a little bit more welcoming to MPO.
I think as well too, for people who are listening and maybe don't know it either, the Vic Open is basically managed by Disc Golf Victoria, which is an association that was developed a number of years ago, but it really became formal probably 3 years ago now. And when we kind of started this Disc Golf Victoria tour. And I mean, I've been kind of involved in the setup of that over the past few years, and I still sit on the committee now. And I think like the difference is a lot is between the I guess the perception of these different, A-tier events or whatever, these majors, is that a lot of the other ones are still getting managed or run by a club. And I think that's a big difference when you've got a local club hosting the event. Back in the day, Geelong, Melbourne, we used to host the Vic Open back and forth. That was it. Yeah. And it was never really competition. We used to help each other out, run events, and it was a big thing. And
there was a friendly, healthy, like, I want to make it bigger than last year type thing.
But very healthy.
But very healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was like a lot of communication and work together on that. But yeah, anyway, I just feel like that maybe this attempt to try and take that pressure off a local club in running the event and get some consistency across the brand of an event has perhaps hurt it a bit.
Would you say that having a bigger pro purse and having that chance to maybe jump into the cash line is something that's important to you? Because personally for me, realistically, I'm not going to win these big tourneys when Dylan or Dave Perry or Bainey's playing. But for me, the sense of accomplishment comes from making that cash line. And not because I'm getting cash in my pocket, that does help, but it's more so the fact that that's my sort of pass mark, and that's my, okay, haven't won, but you've done well. How is it from your perspective being very similarly rated? And what are some of the reasons why you've moved up to the MPO division in the first place?
Yeah, so definitely the point of being a athlete is reaching that next level of skill and drive, and like that next step of what is my next goal. That's currently mine. Like, I want to be in the cash line every time. I have no sense of pride if I play MA1 for the rest of the year and I win every one, because that's not my next skill level goal. I have to keep pushing myself. And that's like, if for the Victoria, if there is no push, there's no reason for the people to start playing at that level, because the winning is not worth the effort. It's that sort of thing. Rathmines, I was the TD of that Rathmines tournament 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We have the same amount of pro people in that tournament just between Newcastle and Sydney than Victoria has this year.
Wow, that's really disappointing.
Yeah.
And where I look at it is I'm actually looking at the MA1 division. There are 4 or 5 people that are within 20 rating points of us. So essentially 2 shots per round in relation to us. They could easily step up. And maybe if there was a bit more priority on the MPO divisions and FPO, we keep saying MPO, but we do mean both. Maybe that's where you start to see some of those people go, hey, you know what? Why am I playing for a free disc or something that I win from MA1? I'll step up to MPO, try and beat,
Or vice versa. Why don't there's more competition in MA1 and I'm similarly rated?
Yeah.
Why don't I just drop down?
Yeah, spot on.
So
absolutely, get a chance to win.
I think the problem that this kind of seems to be presenting is similar to an AD, like a national level as well. Mm-hmm. Like, again, who at the moment is really caring about the ADG tour? Like, to get points
the
to
actual
win it?
Tour?
Yeah,
no one.
Okay, so does this maybe come down to money again? If there was a decent cash prize to be an Australian ADG winner?
Yes, money is a part of it, but we're not asking. I don't think anyone's really asking for much. They want to we're talking about going from 50% to 100%, and really the biggest thing here is that we're going to go play the Vic Open, which used to be an extremely prestigious event, and none of the best players are there. It's a third of the best players. Like, if I want to compete, I want to play against these people, and it's a really big shame that the list from last year with 32 players in there, I ended up coming 6th. I don't give a shit what cash I made. I can't even tell you, but I came 6th at that, and I can tell you the people that I beat in that. I'm like, yeah, I pulled my finger out in whatever round, and I'm really happy with where I finished. Like, I didn't win it, but I knew I was playing against the best in Australia. That's what I want in a tournament. And that's why, like, I think, like you said, a few people have been like, oh, well, I'm on the fence. I don't really want to go. Not sure about the course. You know, I'm pulling out. So, like, oh, well, if Bainey's not going to go, I'm not going to play against him, so I won't go. And then, oh, if Austin's not going to be there, or Jade, or, you know, Dan, or all these big, you know, names, like, well, I'm not going to go because the competition's going to suck. So that's regardless of pay. So that's something for me.
And all these events that are being compared to are all just the majors. There's one in each state, one per year. So there's it's not like Disc Golf Victoria has some good impact, and it's good in different ways. There's positives to it. But maybe with the Vic Open, it needs to be different. Just that one tournament that is that prestigious state champs that you want to be drawing people into. If there's one per year, maybe do it a bit differently.
It sounds like that it would be a good idea maybe to look at, like I brought up before, about maybe looking at, you know, the Vic Open being hosted by a local club. There's Ballarat. There's other, you know, there's other clubs around Australia now. Around Victoria, not just Melbourne and Geelong. And then maybe, you know, Disc Golf Victoria could focus on, you know, maybe running those kind of more grassroots events at different locations to help grow the profile of the sport.
It's a good point, because Bendigo should be popping. They got the great course.
It's disappointing. It's super disappointing, because I went there and, you know, off my own back, drove up there, redesigned, you know, added to the extra 9 holes because they were going to go permanent to make it like something really cool. Yeah. The guys, you know, the local guys there have been working hard, building tee pads and all sorts of shit. And it is disappointing that there's not going to be the highest caliber, you know, players in Australia going to go and compete on it, because it's a bloody good course. It's good. I mean, it's good fun.
You're going to love
elevation
it,
and stuff. So
you are going to love it, and can't wait to see how you fare there. We have definitely hijacked the conversation and gone straight to Vic Open. It's not all about that. We also want to get just an idea of your plans for the year, Cl8ton. You mentioned you may be moving down our way, which is pretty exciting. We might be able to see a few more Melbourne tourneys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, potentially. So like I said, this was a convenient tournament for me because I leave the day that I quit my job. Because in less than a month I'll be heading off to military training. I'm going to the Air Force.
Oh, look out.
It's awesome stuff, mate.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
I can clarify. I have to clarify, still not a pilot.
Okay. And
Well,
look,
actually,
we understand it may be classified info, but in terms of disc golf, what's on the radar? Which big tourneys do you think you can tackle this year, or if any?
Well, that's just it. There is a lot of work once I'm in. So after Vic, I actually don't have any plans. I don't know when my next one's going to be. It'll probably be the next single day tournament that has that's in Victoria, if that's where I go. I'm not even sure if that's certain yet. So
you let us know when you're free, mate, and we'll chuck a one-dayer on it.
I was going to say,
yeah, mate, wherever I am is going to be disc golf. Don't worry about that.
Well, Cl8ton, we appreciate you coming on the pod, mate. It's been a very long conversation about Vic Open, but we do want to congratulate you on your big win at the SA Open and your second place at Rathmines. Very well done, and all the best for what plans you've got for the rest of the year, mate. It's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Catch you next week.
What a good bloke, Cl8ton. And, Paddy, mate, you led with the Cl8ton. That's a bit rude, mate.
Oh, well, come on. Like, we've got 10 Bowen sitting next to me.
And actually, Dylan, don't you have a similar style name?
Yeah, I think I had to pull out of a tournament a couple of years ago with my back, and someone asked me if my middle name started with N, so that my initials could be DNF. Oh, no. Which I took in good spirit and then reflected on it. It was a bit harsh.
That's pretty funny, though.
That's funny. Oh, come on. We love a good nickname here in Oz, and it won't stick, but I did have a good chuckle. I mean, like 3 or 4 people sent that into the pod.
It'll stick, mate.
Yeah, Cl8ton.
How often do I get called 10 Bowen? It's like...
Yeah.
You get 110 and then all of a sudden, bang, you're 10 Bowen for life. So,
I mean, I think 12 and Heimberg had a great ring to it too.
Yeah, we're going to keep that going, actually.
Yeah, I mean...
You've tipped him for next week.
I have 12 and I missed the perfect opportunity. Anyway, we did talk a lot about Vic Open. I think we've said enough on the MPO side of things that, or MPO, but the Open side of things. It is a little bit disappointing to see. We'd love some transparency. I don't think it'd be a hard fix. I feel like I could run a tournament in Inverleigh and just say, hey, it's going to be like 100% payout. You know, you're going to be playing against each other. It's going to be on a good course, and you know.
I did a few weeks ago, and it was pretty simple. I don't know. No one really complained about payouts from my end.
Haven't got them yet though.
Yeah.
Fergs. Just quietly.
I can't get the money out of PayPal. I can't get the money out of PayPal.
I'm sending in negative feedback as we speak. But no,
that's amazing.
Just to clarify that as well, the 100% payout.
Yeah.
When you say this, you say that, but you mean minus event fees.
expenses and things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Anyway, Vic Open's going to be sick. Bendigo's sick. Jacko Adams, he's got a young family up there, but he's still doing a hell of a lot of work to put these comps on, and I'm very, very keen.
And
So-
it is a great course too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people came to Inverleigh last year because it's Inverleigh. This course is well worth coming down for. So anyone still on the fence, make the trip if you can.
1,000,000%.
Well, so with speaking of Jacko, so if anyone follows myself or Tim on socials, you may have seen that we snuck out for a practice round. We've been posting little hole breakdowns.
Bloody Aaron asked me what division I play in. So
that
well
was
done, sir.
Amazing. Thank you, Aaron.
Paddy got me up at 5 a.m. and we drove 2 hours, all right? Give me a little bit of slack, please.
MA10?
Oh, no.
I was like, I was literally typing out, MPO, but it should be MA1 or something like that. And that's what you respond to say. Amazing. So Jacko reached out. He said he's been loving it. We started talking. And I said, hey, mate, we're doing the pod. Would love to hear some Vic Open stuff if you got anything to share. He asked me, what would you want to know? So here's just another backhand quip. I don't know anything about the Vic Open really because no information's been shared. So I just hit him up with a few things and, hey, I'm going to share them now. So I asked him about hole sponsors. He said there's a few still available. If anyone wants to jump on board, they've got the details on the website. Cards will be announced ideally the Wednesday before the event, and apparently David Heath is going to be the voice of the first hole again. So look out. He doesn't need a microphone. You can hear him from all over the course.
Does a great job, Dave O'Heath.
Absolute great job. Players packs. I asked him about that. That will include a custom stamp RPM disc as well as a Vic Open beanie, which I'm pretty excited to see because we have the Bendigo beanie that my sons have worn since it fit their head. So cool to see a Vic Open beanie. There is a caddy book, but we're waiting for Disc Golf Vic to put that out. Being less than 2 weeks from the event. Hopefully that's soon. Tweaks to the course. The lovely Andrew Ferguson has rejigged the extra 9 holes, similar to the Central Vic Classic, but there is a couple of small changes. So if you're not in Victoria and you haven't seen the course, you'll have to wait a little bit, or you can have a look at Timmy and my Instagram and you can see.
Just take our word for it. Hole 3, I think it is, the big 280 metre par 4, massively downhill. That is just a fun tee shot.
Did you change that?
Yeah.
That's sick, mate.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Love it.
I'll just say though, disclaimer. I think it's hole 13 or 14. They've decided to do a temporary tee. Like so the layout I did was going to is for the permanent course, regardless of Vic Open, but they've changed it because the eyedropper, which is that very downhill par 3, some people's discs sometimes end up a little bit right, which is near the permanent tee.
Yeah, cool.
The 6 holes later, so they want to move that one. They've pushed it out to a par 4, which is less interesting, but whatever.
Yeah. There's
play hole 11. 11.
11's fun. Downhill.
The downhill?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Mate, I've had to go out and practice to find a disc to put in my bag for that hole.
Cool.
So, good hole. And then, Jacko just wanted to shout out a massive thanks to the Bendigo crew for getting the working bees together. It is a small crew up there, but the Quarry Disc Golf Club Quarry Hill Disc Golf Club, they've funded the new baskets. ADG have put in $1,000 grant to go towards the baskets and the tee pads. The plan is to have concrete tees for the whole course, but the lads have started them a little bit, maybe just bit by bit. They're rolling it out. So we're not sure if they're all going to be done for Vic Open, but there will be fake grass tee pads there. The major sponsors are RPM, the Queen's Arms, Budgie Smugglers, Heaps Normal Beer, The Great Escape Bendigo, and Big Four Morong. Trophy's going to be done by bespoke, which sounds good. And then some of the local stuff, which I know our families are coming, and I wanted to shout them out as well. So coffee, apparently Early Bird Espresso and Awaken Coffee is the place to go. Saturday night there will be sending out an email, there'll be dinner, but the Queen's Arms is where it'll be. There's good beer at the Bendigo Brewing, and apparently good pizzas there too, and lots of excellent things around Bendigo as well. So if you are on the fence, check it out.
Paddy,
Yep.
did you just make me listen to the players' meeting?
Well, I just said
That was a fair dinkum essay, mate.
mate, 4 minutes.
No, I don't know.
A 4-minute players meeting.
That felt like 4 hours. I
Mate.
listened to a whole players' meeting. I came here to do a podcast and I'm in the players' meeting.
You're not going to listen to the half an hour one,
Fair
mate.
dinkum. No, I'm not. And
There you go.
quite rightly. Anyway, let's move on because I think it's time to have a little bit of fun. I think you've got
Yeah.
something that we haven't done.
I have got something. Now, I've actually got an intro that I've stolen.
Oh, here we go.
But I'm going to play it for you. So we're going to play a little word association game. And if there's any fans of James Bond...
I'd like to start with some simple word associations. Just tell me the first word that pops into your head. For example, I might say day, and you might say wasted.
All right. Cool.
Righto. What was that from?
Bond.
Bond.
Which Bond?
Jeez, you really don't listen.
Daniel
mate.
Craig one. It's definitely Daniel
Yeah.
Craig.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. Never
Scott-
heard that before.
Skyfall, mate, we'll get copyrighted. Come on.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to say a word or a phrase, and then I've got a couple for each one of you.
We have to say the first thing that comes into our head.
First thing that comes in your head. No waiting. No, just quick fire.
Dangerous.
Have you
Yeah.
seen how the quick tips segment goes, Paddy? It takes Fergie 15 seconds to think about a name.
Hey,
Okay. All right. This is the first time we've done this. I want to
here we
see. All right. So Tim, first one. Good putt.
Bainey.
All right.
hang on a sec. Of all the things, that
Wait, you
can say-
said you said good putt, right?
Good putt.
Because if you said good butt, that's Perry all day.
Yeah, well, we know that. Okay, all right.
That's my next
Just to
one.
make this clear, we talk like you could have said Calvin Heimberg. Like
I was
could
thinking
have said,
Australian.
Okay, this is what I'm saying.
My mind went Australian.
Are we Australian? Okay, no, that's fair. That's
Do
fair.
it.
All right.
You go where your mind goes, Fergs.
All right, you just told me where yours went.
Yeah,
so.
we know what your Instagram algorithm is, mate. Bainey, look out. You've got an admirer. All right. Fergie, bad putt.
Me. So quick enough,
Easy
Tim?
one there. That was pretty quick.
Dylan, great course.
Inverleigh.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Tim, first available.
Oh, lamb shanks. Lamb shanks from Parks.
Lamb shanks. I like that. Fergie, great disc.
Oh, geez, compass.
Compass.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
there
compass.
You go.
You went
Latitude
latitude.
compass, yeah.
Cash.
You hearing that?
Yeah.
You hearing that, Tim?
Outrageously
There you
trash. What happened to the Wraith?
Yeah, the compass just was in my mind.
There
Wow.
you go. Mate, and honesty. I like it.
Is honesty, is that a latitude disc?
It's coming out.
Okay.
It's coming out in October.
That's fair. That's pretty fair.
All right, Dylan, in the bag.
Calvin Heimberg. I saw a clip, a little, what do you call it?
Okay.
Thing I for it on YouTube.
Just a Rollo. Yeah. Tim, bad disc.
The Rive. No, that's not right. That came to my mind, but I mean, I just got to roll with it, right?
Yeah, right. Good on you, Tim.
I just don't like the name because it sounds like you've mispronounced or miswritten the word river.
yeah.
Anyway,
Every time I search for it on Latitude, all the rivers come up. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
silly.
Fergs, goat.
Paul Macbeth.
All right. Dill, Vic Open.
Jackson Adams.
Jackson.
Oh, it's so diplomatic of you.
Just in my mind straight away.
I was thinking MA1. No.
All right. Tim, designer.
Designer, Louis Vuitton. What am I meant to say for that?
Just Tim pulling out his Instagram algorithm, eh?
Oh.
Nice. Fergs, good course.
Inverleigh. Yeah.
Really? All right. Dill, sandbag.
Ethan Lewis.
There it is. I want the record to show that there was no thinking on that one. That just came straight to mind.
There was
only
hesitation about should I say it. No,
He plays MPO though. Now he
hey,
does.
that was his first one, I think.
Amazing. Tim, bad course.
I mean, Ruffy comes to mind, but it's not a bad course. Stony.
But it came to mind.
It came to mind.
Yeah, Ruffy.
Oh, this is because we're talking Ruffy Rumble, but Stony is the answer. That's what came to mind.
Ruffy could be so much more, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think I just think of tournament Ruffy rounds. Maybe that's where I'm coming from.
So fair.
All right, Fergie, TD.
Oh, shit. Just trying. I thought about him straight away, but I don't want to think of him. TD, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. Nice.
Yep.
Dyl, MA4.
Alan Brunsting. It's part of the game. I was just being honest. Just being honest.
All right.
Love you well.
Part of the
Buy you a
game.
beer at Vic Open.
Oh, amazing. All right. And last one, Timmy. Great tournament.
Queensland Open.
All right. Not bad.
That's funny stuff.
Should we bring back the word association and other?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to see what MA4 brings to mind for me and Fergs later on.
Al, I'd like to reiterate, I'll buy you a beer at Vic Open.
Nah.
Don't feel
worry
guilty
about it.
now. It's all right.
I think
Own
he
it.
might get one in the MA4 players pack, so don't worry about it.
Actually, speaking of Vic Open beers, bring them back.
Yes.
I've still got
Mate, that's some pre-COVID
a collection
stuff.
in the garage. I've got about 6 of them.
I've got a couple.
Yeah.
So all right, just very quickly, the Greg Bowers, who used to run the Melbourne club, him and some of the Melbourne boys, whenever they ran the Vic Open, they brewed their own beer for it, and like we're talking like a 6 or 7 month process.
Yeah.
Leading up, and they were pretty amazing. But they did their own label.
Well, Jareth did the designs.
Yeah,
They're really good.
Yeah, they were incredible. What do you reckon of that, Tim? Trash or cash?
Trash, actually. I was just thinking, do you drink these or are they collectibles?
Well, we could do a spumante for Tim if you want.
No, I'm just thinking, I won a bottle of wine. I won, Kat and I won the King and Queen bottle of wine from the Barn Valley disc golf thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I drink it? Or there's a lot like, I don't know. It feels like it's trash. It's like a consumable trophy.
Well,
I won a bottle of champagne from winning nationals. That was gone that night.
Okay. Yeah. Do you still have the bottle? Or
I still have the bottle.
Was it labelled and like, was it engraved or anything like that? Or is it just a
I think
random
it
bottle?
had like a label on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's drink it and fill it up with Ribena.
I don't know. It feels, I don't know, the consumable trophy. Don't get me started on disc golf trophies, but yeah, I'm going to say trash. I don't want a can of random ass beer with the Vic Open thing on it.
I'll
take any
Love
beer.
it. Boys, and finally to finish. So a couple of episodes ago, we talked about, Nicholas winning down at
The Open at Austin.
Open
and
at
he's the
Austin.
Finnish cowboy because he
Finnish
had
cowboy.
the hat.
I said it sounded like a shot. And then Damien Cos-Beckworth, who...
Award-winning bartender, mind you.
Award-winning bartender, said, lads, I've heard my calling. The Finnish cowboy shot. So he's created the shot.
You're kidding. This is amazing.
Yeah. So if the cocksucking cowboy is butterscotch, schnapps, and Baileys, then the Finnish cowboy must be aquavit and Baileys. Aquavit is a caraway-flavoured distilled spirit, which is quite delicious if you like savoury spices like caraway. Also one of the main spirits distilled in Finland. He said he's happy to be called up for disc golf drink-related references anytime. But
That sounds delicious.
the Finnish cowboy shot, do you lads think that we could find a venue in Bendigo to try
we have
the
to.
Finnish cowboy shot?
And also, I've got another assignment for Damien. What's the holy shot? The James Conrad, the holy shot.
The holy
What
shot.
would that be?
The blood of Christ, isn't it?
How much does that cost?
All right, there you go, Damo. You've got another assignment, the holy shot. I think we could get a whole list of disc golf drinks on. That sounds good.
That does sound good.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of The Tee Off. Big thank you to Dyl Feldman for joining us in the booth, and
Pleasure.
Cl8ton Beck for somehow sitting through all of that 30 minutes of chat there. But good to talk to Cl8ton, and congrats on a big win from him. Fergie, thank you for being here, mate. You too, Tim. If you are going to be at the Vic Open in Bendigo, come say good day to us. We love hearing if people are listening, and a bit of feedback, that'd be great. Please make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram and send in any questions or topics you would like us to discuss. Until next time, we hope you get out and play some disc golf with your mates.
So that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. I don't know why you're still here. We have to go see our families. Seriously, just go play disc golf.